Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
All right. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 8 a.m. and you are listening to Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we've got a great show for you today. We have with us candidate for Aurora Township trustee. You know who? Sherry Spears. Yes. 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 Keep it live. Keep it live. Okay. So we've got news to talk about. First of all, register your business by December 31st. In the age of COVID-19, the need for highly accurate communication and life safety data has never been more critical. With that in mind, the General Business Registration Ordinance requires all entities conducting business within city boundaries to register with the city of Aurora. By registering your business, you are contributing to the continued success and safety of your employees, patrons, and fellow businesses. The registration process is fast, about 10 minutes, easy and free. We posted the link on our website, on our Facebook page and our website, so you can go take a look at that, click that, and get it done. Got to get it in. General Business Registration Ordinance. All right. Aurora Township elections coming up. February 18th, I believe it is primaries, and with the vote on April 6th. Do you live in Township? What do you know about Aurora Township? Check and see if you live in Aurora Township and rock the vote. Get out there and vote. Check out who the candidates are. Wesleyan Flowing Forth United Methodist Churches, Temple B'nai Israel, New England Congregational Church, and Art Bar Art Gallery, all in Aurora, are hosting Light Up the Night, Candlelight and Community from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Monday, December 21st. Use the hashtag Aurora Light Up, and community organizations, faith communities, and nonprofits are going to be in neighborhoods picking locations, bringing candles to stand together in unity and silence for 30 minutes. Shout outs to all of those great faith organizations. All right. Applications to the Aurora CRB Civilian Review Board are online at the city's website. The link was posted to our Facebook and Twitter. The final date to submit an application will be Tuesday, December 22nd. And there has been a large amount of people who have submitted. I think 66 was the most recent count. Could be wrong on that, but I think it was 66 people who have filed. So shout out to all those people for trying to get involved. Rolling Food Service in Aurora set to deliver 1,000 hot meals to healthcare workers over the coming weeks. After relaunching its highly successful Feeding the Frontline initiative. Starting last week, Rolling Food Service, 115 Oak Avenue in Aurora, will deliver oven-roasted chicken, garlic potatoes, and a vegetable medley or a vegetable lasagna to employees at Rush Copley Medical Center, Amita Health Mercy Medical Center, and Advocate Healthcare locations in the area. Co-owner Ryan Rowland shouts out. The restaurant donated nearly 10,000 boxed lunches to first responders, hospitals, and healthcare facilities in April and May. Word up. Rolling Food Service. They got good food. Shout out. Shout out. Shouts. Shouts. All right. So Saturday coming up, Faith Lutheran Church, which is going to be the 19th, will be hosting their annual church nativity scene. During the performance, visitors will be invited to join the choir in singing traditional carols. After the performance, hot chocolate and cookies are going to be served, and a petting zoo is going to be open. Guests are invited to take their own nativity scene pictures. The public is invited. Admission, parking, and refreshments are free. That's nice. Shout out to Faith Lutheran Church. All right, here's some news which is, it's good, it's happy, but it is kind of sad. Aurora Deputy Mayor Chuck Nelson is retiring on Tuesday, literally tomorrow at 5 p.m. during the regularly scheduled meeting of the Aurora City Council, on which Mr. Nelson served as Alderman of Ward 4 once upon a time. Council members will offer reflections, and the mayor will yield his time on the agenda to Nelson for remarks. The meeting is going to be live on the city's Facebook page and website stream. On Friday, December 18th at noon, Mr. Nelson will join Mayor Irvin for a Facebook Live conversation about his career and commitment to Aurora. Community members can submit remarks to be read during the conversation by emailing them to myaurora@auroratachil.org. Remember, attack is just a Navy term for a dash. It has to be by Wednesday the 16th. A limited number of participants may be invited to join the virtual discussion in real time via Zoom. Mr. Nelson has served as deputy mayor since 2017. He was elected as Ward 4 alderman in 1993, serving 3 terms until 2005. In 2006, he began his tenure as assistant chief of staff for the late Mayor Tom Wisner. And that's a position that he held until 2015. Mr. Nelson was then appointed as Director of Neighborhood Standards for 2 years. He is a class of 1976 graduate of East Aurora High School and an avid White Sox and Bears fan. And he's a friend of the show. Shout outs to Mr. Nelson and shout outs to the city of Aurora. All right. The elf behind the shelf. So you know that our squad is up there at the Kane County Sheriff's Office in Kane County. Shouts out to Judy Dawson and Ron Hain. The elf behind the shelf, the Kane County Sheriff's Office is hosting this great drive, allowing people to help those in need from behind the scenes. The donations go to Pads of Elgin and Mutual Grounds Domestic Violence Shelter. The last day for donations is the 21st, and the 21st falls on a Monday. Lots of items are needed. We've posted this. We'll continue to post this. If you've got Instagram, follow us on Instagram. If you got Twitter, follow us on Twitter. And if you got Facebook, like and follow the page on Facebook. And if you have, well, I know you got YouTube, so subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We've done contests on YouTube before, so you could win. You could win, brah, or sis, you could win. The donation drop box is located in the main entrance of the Kane County Sheriff's Office, which is 37 West 755 Illinois Route 38, St. Charles, Illinois 60175. All right. And also OSHA 30-hour general industry certification training. That's going down too. Shout out to the Kane County Sheriff's Office once again. Now this is going to be January 25th through the 29th of next year from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There is a registration process. It is important that you do so due to COVID-19 restrictions. Class size is limited in person to 10 people. This is a big, huge shout out. I'd like to note also for the conversation that the Kane County Sheriff's Office also runs a job board that is friendly to those that have backgrounds. And actually, I take that back. It's not friendly. It's just realistic. You know what I'm saying? There's many good companies out there that know, like, you know, there's a lot of good talent to be found. And 10 years is a long time for $45 worth of marijuana. All right. Shout out to all the partners also associated with this great initiative. The Aurora Regional Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Aurora Chamber of Commerce, the Elburn Chamber of Commerce. Shouts out, super shouts, more shouts than humans thought were possible. And the Quad County African American Chamber of Commerce. There's so many, and the print's really small on the flyer that I'm reading, so that's why I can't like shout out the other ones. But if you know their logo, you'll be like, oh, I know them. They're from blah blah blah. All right. Also, big shout to our friends, Community Advocacy Awareness Network. Mary Foltz, what's good? This is the Christmas toy drive taking place until the 20th, which is Sunday. The drop-off location is Java Plus, 1677 Montgomery Road in Aurora. And yeah, shout out to that. And that's all, I think. Hold on a second. Oh, wait, no, that's not all. I got to give a couple more shout outs. Shout out to Treadwell Coffee. Opened a new location in Wheaton, Illinois. Stay tuned. We might go peep them and bring the camera with us one day. You know how we do. Just show up anywhere and get busy. Also want to say a huge shout out to all of the businesses in downtown Aurora. Gillerson's Grubbery. Two Brothers. Shout out to all of them. To Khaled Lawn. What's up? Got to come back for the soup. And I want to say a big shout out to all of our friends in Aurora Business United, Aurora Downtown, and the Aurora Public Art Commission. Shout out to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council. And with that, that is the news. All right. So, good to see you today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad you came on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. One of the things that's very interesting is that we have a mutual friend, Mr. Alex Arroyo. So thank him for putting that together. He gets a shout out up top.
Alex is a busybody.
Yes, he is. So for the listeners and the people who don't know you, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Shireen Spears, but I'm known as Sherry, and I'm from Aurora. Been here all my life, born and raised, and just a person that cares about people. Mm-hmm. And that's all I've been doing. What made me want to, give back is because when I was a youth, I wasn't an angel.
Right.
And so I would listen to my mom, she would be fighting with, trying for our rights. And then I would be out in the streets being bad. So once I got older, I realized what she was doing. She was actually paving the way, so that we wouldn't have to struggle and come up. And so I said, well, all the stuff I've done in the streets, I want to give back. So that's what got me into, trying to help people, politics, and learning more about, how the system works and things like that.
Local government.
Yes.
And all that stuff.
Yes.
It's sometimes when you're growing up, you don't think that you can even take part.
No.
You don't even think, you think that door closed. Like,
right.
that's not
I'm
even.
like, no, I could never be on that side, because of what I was doing in the streets.
Right.
But, as I realized, my mom was, she wasn't doing anything bad, but from where I was at, in my age, I felt like she's against us, but then when I got older, I realized, no, she's actually making it safe. She's showing us about our, rights and different things about voting, because my mom made a big issue about voting. At our house, when you go vote, we go out to eat, things like that.
Right.
She pushed that. So I didn't understand that in my youth, but I do now.
So now, looking back on it, how does it feel? Because you're running for Aurora Township trustee.
It feels good because I can't erase my past, but I can start, by doing something positive.
Right.
By bringing awareness to the community, things like that. Doing the opposite of what I was doing in my youth.
Yeah. It's called growth. You know what I'm saying?
Growth. And in order to develop, you have to have growth.
Right. Growing up, what impact did your dad have on your life?
My father and mom, they were together for a while, and then they separated. But we lived in a low-income apartment complex called Jericho Circle. Well, when I was there, it was Westwood. And my father lived with his brother a couple of buildings down. So it was not like he wasn't in my life, because I seen him every day.
Right.
Him and my mom were very, cordial with each other. So it was like he was not in the home, but he was around the home.
Right.
So, that was kind of advantage to me.
Right.
Because I would see a lot of my friends, they wouldn't have their dads and around. But, I seen mine every day.
So, and we know the importance of youth and having their parents with them. When you were growing up, did you see or understand the impact of other kids who did not have either parent in their life whatsoever? Did you know kids like that?
Because the moms would be at work, and this would give the children time, to get into mischief, because the mom had to work, so she wouldn't be at home in the evening, and so the kids would be running around, doing things that they usually wouldn't do when their mom was there. So yeah, I think it, with the father being gone, in a lot of homes that I seen, it did a lot of damage.
Tell me the biggest thing that you can recall. Doesn't have to be negative, good or bad, whatever. Of the Aurora years that we're talking about.
It was like far as drugs, gangs. I think during those, you talking about when I was growing up.
Yeah.
a lot of kids didn't have that two-parent home. And if they did have that two-parent home, you know, the mom and dad worked opposite of each other.
Right.
So you still had time to get in trouble. And this is where you would feel like, my friend has Nikes on, and I don't want to wear these generic shoes. So then you would have the gang life, you know, where you would say, well, hey, I can get with them, make a few dollars.
Right.
I won't even have to bug my mom for any money. You know, this is a youth thinking that this is the way to, you know, to get money. You know, is by connecting with other people, selling drugs and things like that.
I mean, I meet young brothers all the time. 16, 17, 18. And it's like their mentality, you know, they're what they see.
Versus.
You know, we used to see that.
Yes.
But it's so much different now. And it's, you know, and one of the things I've kind of focused on in my life is like trying to help young people not look at life so negatively at an early age.
Well, I can tell you with me, my children, I have a 30-year-old, a 26-year-old, and a 25-year-old. My son being the youngest, the boy. And I would always, you know, worry about me working third shift jobs, you know, how would it affect them? And what I realized was, you know, they took advantage of that. You know, their friends, I wouldn't see their friends in the daytime.
Right.
But when I'm at work, they were at my house. And my oldest daughter would always tell me, Mom, when you're not here, they're partying, they're doing this. And I didn't realize, you know, because their father lived in Minnesota. You know, he would call them on the phone, check their homework, but not being there, you know, gave them a lot of free time.
Right.
You know, and so I'll be honest with you, I moved my kids to Montgomery because I grew up in the East High school system. And just my opinion, how I felt, I didn't want my kids to go to East High. And I graduated from East High. And some of that reason was I didn't really, I felt like it was too many kids. We wasn't getting enough attention.
Sure.
So when my kids, you know, got of high school age, I moved out to Boulder Hill in Montgomery. You know, and once they grew up and they all graduated, I did move back to Aurora. But I felt kind of bad. You know, I said, this is a school I graduated in. But I took my kids away.
You know, the landscape, though. I think if a person really, truly did not like Aurora, once you leave, why come back at all?
Right.
Kids are not, you know. So you're not the first person to tell me that, though, about loving Aurora, going to school in Aurora. Kind of dicey with the east side and all that, west side even too. And then kids are gone, come back to Aurora and kind of live your life.
And that's what I did. You know, I said when my son graduated in 2015, I said, I'm moving back to Aurora. I moved to the west side of Aurora. I said, I'll try that. And I noticed the difference in the kids, you know. Like in our days, we were marijuana drinking. Now it's pills, you know, and they're glorifying this. And until I experienced it myself, you know, I didn't know what they were talking about. And then when it came to my home, so I started knowing what the nicknames were, Molly's and Perks and all this. And so when I would say this to my adult children, they would be looking at me strange, like, how Mom knowing this stuff? That's because Mom was out in the streets. Mom was asking questions. Moms was like, okay, what does it mean when they say they're bussing? And that's when they're high off pills.
Right.
So what I did was I started sharing this stuff to Facebook because it might be a parent out there, their kids could be saying, oh, I'm bussing, and they don't know, they might think they're doing a dance.
Right.
So that's why I would put stuff, whenever I find out, I would put it on Facebook so that parents would know what's going on.
What is Aurora's biggest strength?
I believe that as like a community, when we will come together, and that's something I see. You know, like if someone, you know, is hurting or something, we all will come together as a community.
Right. Now
I like that.
I do like that too. The downtown area is going through a whole lot of development and things like that. What's some of the biggest changes that you've seen in development-wise and infrastructure-wise coming to in Aurora?
Well, seems like everything is on hold.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm waiting, I would love to see the finished product.
Right.
But it's like for the last 4 years, everything has been on hold. So, that's
right.
all I'm waiting for, the finished product.
A lot of people have asked about, I started, here's the thing, I was interviewing, like local artists.
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed Chad from Treadwell, the coffee shop, and I interviewed, a couple of judges. And I realized, like, people always had something to say and ask questions about development. So I figured, like, I was going to ask anybody about development and see what they think.
We just want to see it, I would love to see downtown with restaurants. It's a lot of entrepreneurs in Aurora. And a lot of people, with small business. I would love to see them filled up downtown, outside dining,
mm-hmm.
things like that. But give the people, like the smaller business that can't afford the $16 million loans and things like that, give them a chance. And let's fill these buildings up. That's my opinion, So.
Right. When I was young, there was a store called Venture.
I remember Venture, black and white. Yeah, I'm old school.
It was the stripes.
Yeah.
And I don't remember there being a Venture in Aurora.
It was a Ventures here a long time ago.
Really?
I believe it was like in the 80s.
Huh.
And it was on Lake Street. It's a grocery store now, but it was a Ventures there. And then we used to have a Kmart on Lake Street.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, that is old school.
Old
okay.
school. Yes. And even downtown, we had a SS Kresge, which is like a sister store to Kmart.
Okay.
And that was in the 70s. That's when black people on Saturdays, we lived, I was a little girl, but that was something big in my community where your mom and dad would take you downtown Aurora. You would go to SS Kresge's. They had a diner there.
Mm-hmm.
You would eat. You would do a little shopping. Right across the street here was, trying to think of the store, I forgot the name of it, but it was like, that was the thing to do. And then over the years, it just started dwindling away. People don't come downtown like they used to. I remember we used to sit downtown. You could catch the bus for 15 cents, things like that. It's no excitement like it used to be, And I think when that started happening, that's when it started getting dark in Aurora. It started turning dark, gloomy. I just.
I know. No. I knew. I'm woken up. I'm woken up to catch that. Yeah, getting dark. You didn't mean the lights. You meant the atmosphere, the feel.
Right. It just felt gloomy. Even when I moved back in 2015, I'm looking for things. Man, what can I get involved in? Because our town, it looks so sad. And so then you would think, oh, maybe it's just the people. No, just the structures and things. No, it's the people too. Their mood was like gloomy. No one's really excited about Aurora, And so that's something I want to do is bring that excitement back. Like I won't say mom and pop stores, but yeah, bring them back too. But we just need something to make us more, exciting because it looks depressing.
Sometimes when you do drive down Broadway, you see more empty buildings than you do filled up bright buildings and things like that. I've lived here for about 12 years now, and it's been a boom since I've been here. A lot has changed. There was no bridge.
Right. Oh, the new bridge that's coming.
Yeah, right across from the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about nobody else listening to the show today, but I can't wait till the fireworks and the bridge open. Be hanging on the bridge.
Now, the fireworks was something that we used to be excited about. But then, like, I'll say, what was that, 95, 96 is when it was like every week we were going to a funeral. It was a funeral every other week. We'll leave one funeral and then it'll be a week in the middle and then someone will get killed because the gangs.
Right.
And so it was just like people, it seemed like people just started giving up, like wasn't involved,
Right.
Like when I lived in Westwood, we took care of each other. You know, it was like the neighbors. If you did something, that neighbor could spank you or whatever. We don't have that no more. You know, where we're together like that.
Now you hit somebody else's child. Now you're going to jail.
Yeah, you're going to jail, and possibly you're gonna have to get into it with the parents.
Right.
And I miss that. I really do miss that with Aurora, because you know it's like everybody is just like waiting, you know, to see what's gonna happen. They're just waiting.
Right.
You know, and I think the wait, it should, you know, we should start doing things to bring it back towards that.
That's an interesting perspective. I like how you put that. You're right. So let's talk township.
Okay.
Aurora Township. You're running for trustee.
Yes, I
Dedicated.
I have a group that I work with called On the Move.
Okay.
And we mentor like young people, we'll mentor anyone. I just want to say young people, but we basically try to talk to the younger generation.
Right.
My partner, Gerald Harris, he goes to the Kane County Jail before the COVID, and he was teaching classes there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found a lot of people would call me or, you know, inbox me and say, hey, my light's getting ready to get cut off. Or, hey, I'm short on gas. You know, I need help. So I would send them to Township.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would come back and, you know, some would say, well, you know, the process was so hideous and I couldn't understand the paperwork. And it was like they were, you know, like didn't take the service because, you know, they didn't understand the paperwork or the process. So, you know, after hearing this, and then I'm constantly telling people about Township and things like that. Why don't I just run for Township? That way I'm in there. I'm in the door and I can see what's happening. You know, so like if I sent someone down there and they say, well, Sherry, they gave me a hard time. Well, if I'm a trustee, I can investigate that. So my thing is, if I can't beat them, I might as well join them. And that's what I did.
You know, you say that, and I just had a great flashback to an interview I had with a gentleman named Bill Powell.
Okay, I know Bill Powell. He was the police chief.
Yes, he was.
Mm-hmm.
He and I were sitting, this back before we started doing video, we're sitting back chopping it up, and we're talking about, among many things, law enforcement in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, I was raised a kind of way, you know, I may as well just be the police.
Right.
You know, you should, I mean, they hiring, this is kind of off the subject, but it's also on the subject,
right.
You know, like be in there to help out.
Right,
folks.
because you get, you know, like one guy I know, he couldn't read. So my thing was when he went to Township, maybe that was the issue. You know, whoever the intake was might have not knew, or he could have been embarrassed to tell her he couldn't read.
Right.
So my thing is, I'm not going to just take someone's word.
Y'all hear that? Motorcycle.
Yeah. That's the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But my thing was, you know, instead of, you know, wondering how did they get treated or how did they, you know, talk to them. So my thing was, let me go and apply. That way I'll know what's going on. And I can, you know, it won't have to be a guessing game. I can talk to the people directly because I'm in there. I'm all up in their business in Township.
In the mix. What's
I'm
happening?
in the mix, right.
Okay, what time they come in? I said 3:00. Right.
Right. Well,
yeah.
So I'm in there. And so I've always wanted to, you know, to help people. Even when I was in high school, you know, like I said, I wasn't always just like, I wasn't bad. You know, I was the type of person, if you tease someone because they had on raggedy shoes, I would be the one that would get, you know, say something to you. Mm. Like, sort of like a bully, I would check the bully. Right. You know, and I've had that from a little girl, you know, and that's how I am with Aurora. I feel like I don't know if I want to say a big sister or to everybody, but I feel like no one should be without.
I got asked if I knew you a few years ago.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like the name Sherry Spears has definitely been brought up to me.
You know, and that's
like, Kurt, you know Sherry, right? Like, no, who's Sherry? Kurt, you don't know Sherry Spears?
And you know what? I'm the type, I don't want a pat on the back for anything that I do. And I realize that's why a lot of us, different organizations, are separated. Because someone wants that pat on the back, or hey, it's me. I don't need that. You know what gives me satisfaction?
What?
Knowing that when a young mother come to me and said, hey, I didn't have money to get a uniform, I just started a new job, and she tells me, you sent me to this place and I got my uniform. That's the satisfaction I get.
You know what? Look, this is a different interview. We're gonna keep it. We keep it real on every
Let's
interview,
go
but we're gonna keep it. We go 100 right now. You know something that the African American community, I think, understands and appreciates and really notices more is, okay, it's one thing to tell me, look, yeah, take your 2 forms of ID, your 3 pieces of your mail, and go down there, stand in line, they're going to call you, and at 3 o'clock you're going to go. That's one thing.
Right.
But to have somebody actually be like, look, come on with me.
Right. And let me explain.
Or let me see what you, cross that out and put that there. That's what black people, that's what black folks, and we try to do that.
Right. And see, and my thing is, I know it's a lot of people that, you know, they're embarrassed to say they can't read.
Right.
You know, they don't understand the language.
They don't got the $20 filing fee right now.
Right, things like that. And my thing is, I don't think you should be denied services because you can't read. That's why we have to have people in these positions, the intakes, the politicians, everything have to be more understanding to the people. You know, I don't look at you and assume, oh, he can read. I don't, because I don't know, because I just met you. So just imagine how many people, you know, didn't get service because of these little small things, you know. And my thing is, I'll waive the $20 fee if it's gonna solve, you know, help you get ahead. I'd rather waive that. We'll come back to that. But if I can get you situated right now, then I'll work on that. And see, and that's a lot of, you know, we got a lot of little things are stopping big things in Aurora.
And especially in regards to like the large machinery of organizations and bureaucratic organizations, the minister of this, down the hall for that. You know, I don't know where the township boundaries are. I didn't know if I lived in township or not, but I can just understand and assume that like when you're dealing with these bigger organizations, there's not much street level, grassroots,
right,
like helping folks,
right.
You know, and I think that's a shame.
And you know, I'm not looking to go in. You know, I pray I win, but I'm not looking to go in and just overturn everything.
Right.
But I do have opinions, and my thing is, like with township, I think it should be advertised more. A lot of people don't know the services that township have. I can put up a post on Facebook, which I did a few weeks ago, and people were inboxing me, Sherry, they got that? So I'm more, from what I've seen and what I've been walking around, we need to get back to knocking on doors, doing wellness checks. Why sit behind the desk and waste time when you can be out there knocking on the doors? You discover a lot of stuff. I realize that, not from my group that I'm in, not from anybody telling me, but just getting in my car and start driving and going to different neighborhoods. And you find out a lot of stuff. You know, you might find out people, you know, you got abuse, all types of abuse going on. But if we're sitting behind the desk, we don't know that. I would love to be in a position where, with township, that I can start knocking on doors. Hey, are you guys hungry in there? Hey, do you guys need something? We need to, that's how we get that community thing back together. But no one's doing door to door.
Right. Ain't nobody trying to do that.
But that's just something I think that we would know.
They should be doing that. Yeah, they just not doing it, but they should be doing it. Yeah,
right. You get more information. You know, you collect the data, and you really find out what's going on in your city.
I was fortunate enough to. This seems so long ago. Holy cow! This was, it was just over the summer last year, but I was fortunate enough to do canvassing once upon a time in my life. And you're right. Knocking on people's doors and walking in a little yard and ding dong a little bell, and then they come out. You talk. No amount of reading a book can prepare could. You know what I'm saying? That's not. They don't teach that in school.
No, it's you know, like I tell everybody. I said, you can have a master's degree, a bachelor's. I'm not knocking anyone for getting that.
Right.
But I found out the best experience and the best teacher is going out there in the field and asking the people. Because you can do a data. How do I know this data was on the right group of people? How do I know this data was even pertaining to this group of people? And that's, and I've been saying it for years. I said, I wish we had a program where we can go and talk to the people. So I started doing it myself. Got in trouble for making videos, but I did it.
What was the videos about?
I was in a housing complex.
Okay.
And, it's called Eastwood.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out there. It was a shooting. So I wanted to go out there and see what's happening.
Right.
So I started videotaping, and, I guess a lot, the Aurora housing manager, he didn't like it, but I didn't care. You know why? Because I need you to see what's going on
right.
in your apartment complexes. Because when they go home, the people are still there. And that's where, like, township, different things like that should all come together.
What are the services that township provides?
They have like rental assistance. They have scholarship programs. They have grants for nonprofits. Also, like if you need groceries and things like that, they have emergency assistance program. They also have general assistance, where it's like an ongoing income if you qualify. Like if you don't get SNAP and things like that, this is like a supplement. And they have a notary service, free notary service for the people. And I know that's good because a lot of times you have to search around
for
notaries.
Yes, you do.
So that's something they offer. And
what's cool is you're right, like Aurora Township is like the most closely kept secret, but it's so obvious. It's right
there.
But nobody knows what the hell it does. But they do cool stuff. There's been a few like Aurora Township things that have been going on that I've shouted out in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, shout out to Township. I don't even know what the hell.
What they're doing.
I don't know nobody on Township. But right now they have this thing. I really appreciate this. There's the VNA healthcare shuttle bus
yes.
with Pace. In conjunction with the city, shout out to the township. I'm feeling that. Shout out.
And that's good. But also you have to look at this. What about the emergency assistance?
Yeah, that's right.
Things like that. It's simple stuff that they could just like pass out a pamphlet, just letting these people know. I'm trying to find out, is it in their budget? Because the last newsletter that they had was from 2013.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and this money is in their budget. So why aren't these newsletters getting out? Why aren't you sending people out?
Right.
My thing is, let's do right. Let's get this information out. Because do you know a mother sitting up, or either a single father sitting up at night worrying how I'm going to get these kids some shoes, how I'm going to get get to work so I can take care of the kids. If they knew this information, that could take a lot of stress off people. A lot, you can change attitudes. Because I know when I used to worry about bills, I was mean. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to be happy. I was mad. So, this can change a lot of attitudes and things. Because it's hard when you're sitting up and you're trying to figure out how to take care of the household.
Yeah.
And me, I'm, sometimes I have to, Sherry, be quiet. But I know that's my mom coming out in me, because my mom would invite the mayor, the Chief Brent. These are older people. My mom is in her 70s. But she would have Fred Rogers, people like that. You ever heard of Fred Rogers?
The Magnet Academy?
Yes. He would come to our house, and my mom would cook. But her thing was,
all I do is learn on this show, y'all. These facts, y'all. What the?
We just gave Fred and Eva Rogers and Lillian Perry about 2 years ago on the move. We gave them a award, for being trailblazers in the community. But see, it goes deeper with me, because I used to be sitting there watching them eating at our table, and I'm like, what my mom got all these people over here for? Her purpose was She said, bring them to your home. Tell them the need of the community. You know, you have to, you know, you can't look at, oh, because they have this title, they're bigger. My mom said, no, there's no big them and little us.
Right, especially when the big people or the big people,
they have the power.
Reach back down. See, some folks, that's the thing where you know you got good people at your table at least, because some folks wouldn't even, oh, you mean go have dinner at this lady's house?
Right.
On whatever
she
street.
She lives in low income.
Yeah, nah, I'm not going to do that. The
and
people who do that, that's, yeah.
I didn't even know I didn't really know what low income was.
Yeah, you never do.
You didn't because, hey, my mom worked, my dad worked, we eat, you know. But it's some people who I grew up with, they were living that. And my thing is, right now, it shouldn't be low income. We're all people. We just happen to have, live in different areas or whatever. But to me, everybody is the same. I don't care if you drive a Cadillac until you riding a bike. I respect, at my job, the CEO get treated just like the kitchen help. Because we're all human. And that's where we gotta remember where we come from. Don't forget where you come from. And never think you're above anyone. And like I said again, I'm not knocking no one for having a degree. I applaud you. But my thing is, not everyone is gonna go to college. Not everyone can afford college. So does that mean you treat me different? That means I get hot dogs and you get steak?
Correct.
Maybe sometimes I do think I get too involved, but then I can't stop.
What do you mean too involved?
Like I get emotional about I wish I could help everyone. I know I can't, but I do. I try as much as I can. I was working 12-hour shifts, but I still had that phone. Okay, this is, for resources, giving people places they can get help. And my thing is, I know it's not gonna happen just like 1, 2, 3, but if I keep voicing and talking about it, somebody's gonna pay attention.
So when the primaries are in February.
Mm-hmm.
February, what's the date?
February 23rd, I believe.
Feb 23rd are the primaries, and the election is April 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's campaigning and everything been like in the COVID era?
It's kind of weird because you can't really go out a lot. Last weekend we did a thing where we had all the candidates come over on New York Street. We call it the Mansion. It's a big house, and we did videos like that. We're planning to do drive-ups where we're gonna have the candidates there, but the people can drive up in their car. And we'll have loudspeakers and things like that so they can hear us. And, a lot of door-to-door. I'm partnering with John Lash, Alex. We all got a little circle. And, we're just kind of like helping each other. Me, I use Facebook because it's free. Right. And it reaches a lot of people. Right. And my whole thing has just been about change with action. And what I mean by that, a lot of people say, change is going to come. Okay, you can say that all day, but what are you doing?
It might not.
Right.
It might not. If you don't,
you have to put some action with that change.
If Rosa Parks didn't get busy that day on that bus, when was change really gonna come?
Right. Because some people would have figured out a way to shut this group up over here.
It might not change. Might not come. People think. The only thing that changes that you don't have to set no watch to is the seasons. That's it. Other than that.
But what I would like, as far as like with me in township change, that the public knows more.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm totally.
I want that, and I want it to be fair. Like organizations, you look on, and this is for your information you can get. You look, the same people are getting the money. But we have over 100 and some different organizations out here. That's something. See, and that's where, I say I get involved because I'll take it all the way. I want to know, well, why is this group still getting the money?
Right.
Why this other group been in action for 20-some years and they ain't getting the money?
Right.
So that's where I say I be getting involved because I'm about fairness and I'm about the people. So I feel like if your group been getting grants for the last couple of years, you know, and this other group is getting overlooked. We got a problem.
How can people find out if they're in township or not?
You can call Township. They have a map on their website.
Okay.
I really don't want to say go to their website because we've been having problems with a lot of outdated information.
Okay.
Like I told you about the 2013
newsletter.
Was the last newsletter. That's to me is unacceptable. You know.
Right. It's been all kind of news in Aurora from
right.
2013. My
God.
God.
Like you got different places that's handing out meals to people. A lot of people don't know about it because it's not in. If it was in a newsletter, it would be. You know, people would know.
Yeah. Shout out to Mary Foltz.
Mary
Housewife
Foltz,
of Horror, all
Alyssa
that.
Dockery.
Yeah.
She does it out of her own money. You know, and my thing is, people need to know about this. What is a township if you're not helping the township? You're just a building sitting there.
Right.
You know.
Now, Township has the location on Broadway, down the street from us, across from the fire station, and then they also operate the Youth Services Center
on Gale, which
Gale
is
Street.
closed now because of COVID, and they're doing some work there, so they didn't have the kids in there.
Right.
And they used to have basketball there, but they took basketball out and soccer. You know, I would like to see more field trips for the kids. Do you know, Curtis? I'll say at least 10 kids in Aurora have not even been outside of Aurora.
Oh yeah, I can.
And the saddest thing I heard is when a child told me they went out of town and they told me they went to Batavia. That's not out of town, but this is reality.
That's
right up the street.
Right up the street.
But that's what he thought when you asked him, "You been out of town lately?" "Yeah, I went to Batavia." I was crushed because I'm like, Batavia.
Right.
That's what I want to see, more kids being able to, once the COVID let up, we'll be able to take groups of kids, go to Washington D.C., go to different attractions and things. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want to hear a kid tell me that going out of town was going to Batavia. That hurt.
How long are the positions for trustee? What's the
for 4 years?
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 4-year positions. Is there a max of terms that you can serve?
I believe there's 2.
Okay.
I believe there's 2.
2 4-year positions.
I'm thinking for the trustees.
Okay. How's it looking? You confident, right?
I'm pumping. I'm pumping. A lot of people know me from, just from me being out in the streets.
Right.
Me from being who I am. And I do use Facebook a lot. And I'm the type of person, I'm not hiding what I'm doing. If I feel something's not right, I'll post it. I'll go to the place. That's just me. And I've always been the type of person that I cared about. Like if I said something wrong to you, a long time ago, it wouldn't bother me, because I was my head was cloudy. I was in the streets.
Right.
But like I said, I went back and I analyzed all that, and I said, you can be more of a help to your community than a hinder. So which one do you want to be? And that's when I said I want to be a help.
Right.
Because just information alone can bring people out of a rut.
You know what? And you know what else it is too? That's cool. Like, information can bring people out of a rut, and sometimes like somebody just showing you something new could make you like the rut never even exists.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You sit back and you look like, I'm feeling what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. There's so many people I've talked to. Mary Foltz is one of them. Just side chops and just been like, you know what, like all the stupid stuff. Like you look at old pictures of yourself sometimes, you're like, what was I
thinking?
Jesus, what was I thinking? And it's like, no, the mission now
is deeper.
Is way too deep. We gotta lift our people up,
and that's
all the way every single day.
Mary's organization Alyssa Dockery, she has Echo Development. Gerald has.
Oh, that's who has Echo. Okay.
Yeah. Gerald Paris, he has On the Move. You have so many different little groups here And if we all, we do try to come together sometime, but like I said, you get some groups, some people want that big pat. I don't want the pat on the back.
Right.
You don't gotta put my name in lights. All I want to know is, did that woman or did that child, did that man get help?
Right.
That's my biggest thing. Did they get the help that they needed?
Right.
We can pat each other on the back later. Because right now our streets is showing this. You ride around Aurora, it's not happy. It don't look happy like it did in the 70s and 80s. 90s was a bad time for us because we had all the gang killings and things. Mm-hmm. But now, even some of the people that were fighting against each other, we're friends on Facebook. We're coming. We got kids, that are growing up together, and we're working together to try to find out. Hey, what did you find out today? Okay.
Right.
Well, what you find? We're comparing information. So, even the streets are coming together. And my thing is, maybe last year, I called everyone that I knew that had some, street credibility or that was involved in the streets. And I said, hey, we got to do something. There's too many people dying. The kids that I grew up with, they're killing their kids. We grew up together. Our kids are killing each other. Hey, we got to do something. So about 12 guys showed up. And they committed to helping me. Lester Salter, I'm trying to think of some, Andy Williams. We had, it was a lot of people there. Ed Ash, I know you heard of Ed Ash. He has Elevated Radios. I'm trying to think of another guy.
ASHE? Mm-hmm. Edward Ash. Okay.
Edward Ash.
Okay, yeah.
He was there. And so my cry went out, because I'm like...
I don't know I know that name. I've heard of him.
I'm just trying to figure out, what can we do? What can we do? And so we got together. And it is all about accountability. And that goes from the local agencies and everything. Everybody has to be accountable.
Right.
For what's going on. I can't point the finger and say, well, she didn't do this. No, we all, if we're going to be in a war, this is going to be home, we have to be accountable and stand up.
If you were mayor for a day, what's the first thing that you'd do?
The first thing I would do is fill up downtown. I would go into the neighborhood with these, young entrepreneurs and people, and I would start filling up these businesses, putting people to work, and things like that.
Even with the COVID going on and everything, I still feel that Aurora's got a bright future ahead of it. Would you agree?
Yes, if we get the correct leadership in Aurora, if we get people that is not so much on clicks, we need to bust up clicks, because I don't feel...
Does Aurora have clicks?
It's like...
We'll chop that for part 2.
Yeah. But I just feel like one side shouldn't be serviced.
Sure.
Or your income.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
So that's what I mean by clicks.
Yeah, your income and where you live should not dictate the police response to your neighborhood or how much funding you get, whatever the case may be. Yeah. What's something that you'd like people to know about you running for township?
I would like people to know, and I think I live it, that I'm a fair person. I listen to every citizen matter to me. I don't look at skin color. I look at the heart, and I want to see my people. And when I say my people, I mean all people.
Right.
Black people especially. Mm-hmm. But I say all people.
Right.
Because I want to see everybody growing and developing. Because it's a lot of potential here. I love Aurora. I left a few times, but I came right back because this is home. I miss the smell of, cornbread, and you go on this side of town, you smell the tamales and things like that.
Right.
And, it was, you used to walk up to someone's backyard barbecue and get a plate. I miss that. And what I want to do is bring Aurora back center, where everybody matters, not just, you know, who you are or who you know. I want everybody to matter. And that's why I'm starting, you know, at Township. I would love to have jumped in and did something bigger, but I was sick, I had surgery, but I'm still, even from the low levels, I'm going to work my way up, because I do believe that if we continue to, you know, talk to people, we change attitudes, we bust these cliques up, we'll have some, Aurora have some popping. You think it was popping once, it'll be popping if we can get these attitudes and make everyone feel like they matter.
All right, yeah, widen the sandbox.
Right.
Everybody,
don't feel like just because you don't hang at Morton Steakhouse, so you don't matter, or you go to Burger King, so you stay over there with Burger King. No, I want everyone to come to the table and eat. You know, we all eat together.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's my thing.
The show ends on a positive note. What is your message for the people going into the week?
Don't give up. Believe in yourself. Don't let where you come from determine where you're going. You matter. That's what I feel. Everybody matters.
So, on behalf of the second largest city's first daily news podcast, we appreciate Sherry Spears. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Very much so. We apologize to listeners for the train that you may have heard in the background of this episode, but I want you to know that we are on the streets. We are definitely among and with the people. We appreciate being the voice of the people and putting the message out there. And shout out to Jason Crane and The Voice newspaper. That's not a swagger jack, you know what I'm saying? That's just a double shout.
Yep.
But anyway, have a blessed, safe, wonderful day and the rest of this week, and we will see you guys back here tomorrow for another great show. Peace, y'all.